issue there where my graphics were not updating correctly. But it's done now, and I'm just starting up. I'm just going to go pretty short today. Might have to step away from the live stream because my wife is coming up with groceries, so that means I'm going to have to step away for a minute or two or three or four or five, go get groceries, bring groceries back upstairs. Hope all is well. Today is Friday, August 8th. With today, this makes pretty much a solid month. We've been streaming here. Not entirely certain, but it looks like we are live on LinkedIn. We are. Whoops. We are definitely live on LinkedIn. We are live on Instagram. Yes, social studies. Hey, how you doing, social studies, Minnesota? Weston L. Collins, hello. Wild Meg South SC is here. Hello, how you guys doing? Facebook is live, and both YouTube channels are live. Hopefully, with updated graphics by now. So that's where we are. It has been a pretty interesting week in the graphic space. We went up live today with a Dieselfunk Dispatch short, which was pretty good. I'm glad. Always happy to do that. And I'll talk about that a little bit as well. Why I'm doing it. What's the focus behind doing it? At this time, one of the things that I decided to do, and I think it's running now. I'm not entirely sure, but I am broadcasting live on Substack. I'm not sure, but I think maybe it's there. I don't know. We'll see. Well, it's the link to it. So Substack should be live as well. I don't know if there are graphics to it or if I can edit or what have you. But that is what is going down. And I'm very, very proud to say and to at least show what I'm doing. One of the things that it's important to me that I do is I save as many different, I put my stuff out in as many different venues as possible. It is not an easy thing to do to keep track of it all because you all know I'm the most disorganized black man on planet Earth. So that's what that is. Now, why did I start Substack? I started Substack because whoops, what is going on there? Let's see what's happening here. We seem to have a issue here. Nope, that's right. That's it. I don't know what's going on there. But we'll have to go back to the main thing right there for 1 second. Let me see here. If I take this out and put this back in, now we're going to take care of it. Hang on. Hang on, guys. Hang on. All right, we should be good now. Let me check and see what was happening with the straight ahead camera. Yes, we are here. We are live. Wow. That is a lot of broadcasting. We got, and Twitch. How could I forget Twitch? So Dieselfunk Dispatch YouTube channel, Dieselfunk YouTube channel, Dieselfunk Studios Twitch channel, Instagram, Facebook Live, which will be able to be streaming not only to the Graphic History Company channel as well as the Afrofuturism 2.0 channel. So it's a lot of streaming today, guys, and that's good. That's the way I like it. In theory, I suppose I could stick with just one channel, but I'm trying to go to where as many people as possible are, so that's a good thing for me. We're going to do one last thing here. We're going to very quickly go over to the Tim Fielder Facebook page, and we're going to do a very quick copy paste. And we're now streaming to Tim Fielder, the YouTube channel. I mean, not YouTube, the stream to the Facebook page, Tim Fielder Facebook page. So that's good. So let's get rid of a little clerical stuff here, and I'm going to draw. I've been drawing a little bit, a lot of clerical stuff. You know what they say, you're constantly chasing checks when you live like I live, you're constantly trying to figure out uh, uh, what who you're having to send stuff to, keeping in track of paperwork. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it is something that I have to do. So there's that. Also, we'll be keeping track. Hello, Mark. How you doing, Mark? Jay Westfall from Minnesota. Good to see you. It was a pleasure to spend time with Mark. Was that earlier this year? I forget exactly where it was. Where? Oh, was it? That wasn't last summer. That was early this year. Where Mark, who I think is the president of the Minnesota Social Studies group, um, uh, brilliant teacher, well spoken, much needed in this time and age. That's one thing working with my colleague and partner Walter Grayson for the sale of this book, Graphic History of Hip Hop, is that we find that there are social studies that need this type of material and content in their classroom, and we're more than happy to do that. Should let you go. Hello, Life as Tiffany Cody. How you doing? As Mark, you should know that we are feverishly trying to finish out volume 2 of the Graphic History of Hip Hop. So you will have more content coming. I say that because hip hop is definitely not something that can be told in one sitting. Definitely not that. Okay, with that, let's go to our desktop here. There it is. Now I go here. You all notice how I prep. I have to try. Well, I have to try to prep. I should say. I have to try to prep to make sure that my graphics together. But sometimes it's so much stuff to manage that it gets out of hand. But that is one of the things I'm doing. One day I'm gonna figure out TikTok. One day I'm gonna figure it out. But for right now, we'll leave that. Once I get TikTok, Substack is, I assume, so gives a link to the YouTube channel. I'll eventually get what's headed, but you can go to Substack and you'll see the link to the YouTube, so that's good. I think, like I said, once I get TikTok running, then I think I will have all of the coverage that I pretty much can handle. Maybe I could try Blue Sky as well. There might be people who would be interested in Blue Sky, but I don't know exactly how Blue Sky is working with that. Maybe I'll take a moment to check here. Let me go there right quick. Blue Sky. All right, let's see here. Let me click here. Let's see, we got video. Can we? No, we can't stream. Nope. If anything, I suspect what I could do is to stream, connect the YouTube channel. So maybe that's something to do. And that might be something worth doing right now. Right now, though, we're going to chill on that for right now. Okay. Let's see. We're going to go here. All right, let's take a look here. We have a few people here. Now they're going to start deleting some of these because I do so much live streaming everywhere. Some of these channels are not built to maintain months and months and months of live streaming. Twitch is, but I don't know. YouTube, they're like, yo, we're going to get rid of this thing from 3 weeks ago because that's not what they're trying to do. That's not what they're trying to do. But anyway, so we're good there. Let's start drawing. Okay, so again, we have our thingy here. I want to go now to Photoshop. Go to a widescreen here. You guys can see that. One of the things I'm feeling like I need to do is warm up. We can warm up here. And I'm feeling like, what am I in the mood for today? I mean, I could do some more breakdowns. I will do more comic breakdowns, by the way. I will do more comic breakdowns. But I think sometimes I need a break from the tedium of this kind of heavy, weighty Afrofuturist storytelling. So it helps for me to be able to do that. Let me make sure I can keep an eye on Instagram because that's the one that folks tend to really be on. Also, for you guys, Mark, Tiffany, Cody, Social Studies Minnesota, Weston L. Collins, I I would ask you guys, please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel because I do want to try to work to become monetized. I know money is not supposed to be the focus of this type of stuff, but I'm asking for it because it's how, hopefully this channel will be able to pay for more production. I have more things coming up that are going to be pretty exciting. And there we go. All right. So I'm going to just warm up a little bit. And I think before I start doing breakdowns, I'm going to start doing more breakdowns on Maddie's Rocket today. I'm feeling a little Maddie in my heart here today. So let's see here. We're going to go here. There we go. All right. So we got that. That was a pretty good thing here. But I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete that. Okay, we'll go here. This will be good. And let's just warm up here. Sometimes we need to warm up. Now, although Clip Studio Paint is great, I just find the brush tool here and Photoshop is quite nice. You can get some really, really beautiful line work if you play it right. I find you can do that. It's obviously not a vector image, and for you folks who are not familiar with vectors, it's more it's not a curve based. It's actually pixels. You might ask, well, what do I mean by pixels? As we zoom into this, see those squares? See those squares? That's a pixel. That is a pixel. So those little pixels are put together in a pattern that makes a shape. And it's something that can work very, very nicely. Okay, there we go. And of course, the farther you zoom out on this type of stuff, the more it gives you a clearer idea of images. But that's why I work no less than 300 ppi, pixels per inch. That's the minimum I work up, but I can work as many as 600, depending upon what image I'm doing. I got my T here. Also, for the two medical procedures, just a quick update on that. Two medical procedures I received last week. It appears that everything was good. There was one polyp that they removed on the Thursday thing, but it was all benign, so I'm in the clear there. I was told to come back in 5 to 10 years. I think I had mentioned that before, but I got another update on today. It's just a little stuff of in the stomach area where there is you have bacteria built up, and I'll be on antibiotics for that for 2 straight weeks, and then after that, everything catches. I'll be in pretty awesome health. So that's another thing that I'm really grateful for. To have medical professionals really all over, making sure that I keep on top of my stuff. I have not done my 5 miles walking today, but if I go till 9:30, 10, I may actually find myself going out to do that 5 miles just tonight, just so I can get it done. If not, I'll ride inside on my bike and we'll be there. So anyway, let's go here. Now, a lot of folks have seen me. I'm just warming up here, loosen up. Have seen me do Maddie's Rocket stuff, and I think today might be fun to do some things that ultimately will probably end up in the animated variant of Maddie's Rocket. You might go animated, yes. There was a period where Maddie's Rocket was an animated project. It was a series I was trying to do. I was not doing it well because I'm not the greatest animator in the world. However, I will say that what has gone down very recently is that I am able to, how would I put it? I can animate much more effectively utilizing Runway ML. I mean, I can do my keyframes, and with those keyframes, I can showcase a little bit of what I'm doing now. One of the things I might show, something here right quick, but this might be important for you guys to see, but I gotta clear a few things. There we go. Hang on 1 second. Yep. How you guys doing? respond to people in real time. That's an interesting thing with this whole live stream thing is that yeah, on one end you are producing the show, but on another end you're sort of doing some things really very much in real time and keeping track with folks here. Hey, on Twitch, it appears we have 2 followers. This is fantastic. Thank you, Twitch folks, for chiming in there. This is good. Twitch is the streaming place. All of these things seem to have different uh, uh, streaming and compensation setups. I'm still trying to sort all that out. Okay. There we go. Let's see what else we got here. What else we got here going? All right, so we got our drawing here. We want to now go back here. And I'm going to go to a one sequence here, and we're going to see what we can do. We're going to see what I want is if it's 8:30, between 8:30 and 9:30, I just want to try. You all know how I am about schedules. I want to try to do something that will utilize. I kind of want to time myself to see how quickly I can do frames for animation. And that means doing the frames for the backgrounds as well as the frames for the characters. And there's a sequence that will be intercut in future variants of Maddie's Rocket. You all know that I am very much in love with the flashback, and the flash forward. I think it's pretty dope how people use that technique. Although I know my book, Maddie's Rocket, is a book for I don't consider it for children. I consider Maddie's Rocket to be something for young adults. But it is something where I do play around quite a bit with uh, non-linear narratives. I'll flash back, I'll flash forward. I'll have stories happening at the same time. I think it's just pretty exciting to be able to do that. And we will see. We will continue to rock with that and see what goes down. See what goes down. All righty. Let me turn this right here off for a moment. Again, YouTube folks, thank you so much for chiming in tonight, or at least, whatever's happening. Thank you so much for doing that. Okay, let's go back here to Maddie's Rocket. All right, so I don't know if we're going to be able to hear this. You might be able to hear it. Okay, so you can't see anything right now, but this is just one clip, right? This is one clip. This is here it is. Let me see if I can turn the volume up on this so you guys can hear it. Okay, so that was pretty. Let me mute this for a second while I loop that. That was pretty an interesting process. I must have done this about 3 months ago, just before I got sick. But the reason why I did it is because I have an interest in producing animated programs. Again, I tried to do Maddie's Rocket many, many, many years ago just before I came back into comics. I was trying to do it as an animated project. And let me tell you, it was kicking my behind. But now the tools for the first time have gotten sufficiently advanced enough to where one can, in theory, produce an animated film or series and and do a good job at it. It's quite fascinating. It's quite fascinating the way it works. But let me just show you a few things here. Let's go here through our storyboard section. All right. So this is going to be a little weird, but work with me here. All right. Let's go here. All right. Hopefully everyone can see the screen. This is all will be a sequence that will also be in comic form, I think. But that's the beauty of how I'm working here. It's something that really does allow me to have to be able to tell my story, but to do it in such a way where there is work can be repurposed. I can produce it in comic form first, and it can be repurposed to animation. That's one of the beauties of working in a widescreen format. Uh, I'll show you what I mean. Let's go here to this sequence, right? So this is how it opens, right? It opens here. So this is Maddie's rocket. She's hauling some cargo through space. See that? So that's the beauty of that type of thing, is that when I'm doing storyboards, I can toggle through those storyboards and it works pretty good. But in the past, that was completely insufficient for animation, right? Because it's kind of quirky, which I didn't mind. Now my workaround for this technique was, well, okay, how am I going to pull off telling this story and not kill myself with the animation? And my dream for Maddie's Rocket is based indirectly on Old Republic serials, animated Disney shorts. And the thing that is really based on, and this is the thing I'll show folks. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Just got some back. Which is good because that keeps it clear. Chime in and follow on YouTube or Insta, please, sir. Please. Okay. All right. So, uh, we are doing our animation here. We're going to do a little animation. And we're going to get a few thingies. Again, let's time it. All right, so we go here. This is Maddie happening here. This is a sequence. I'm going to show you guys the storybook. And I'm going to show you on at least one image how, well, the dream is to produce one animated still, right? Maybe, and pull it off. But then we will tweak that with layout of an actual comic page. We will see if this will work. We will see. Now the breakdowns have already been done. I'm just going to see how efficient I can be in actually doing the artwork, because it's been a while since I've worked on Maddie like this, and that's all coming into production now. So there's no way to get away from that anymore. Anymore. Let's go here. There we go. All right. So again, whoops, that was not what I wanted. There we go. We're going to close that. We did not want to open up that frame, but we're going to do that right here. Okay. Whoa. Okay, hang on 1 second. All right. So let's go back here to Matty. All right, here we go. So we start here where Maddie's rocket comes out of the distance, close up. Then we go to a close up of our title sequence. Again, storyboards. Hello, Jerry Kraft. Thank you for joining in tonight. Jerry Kraft is the Newbery Award winning graphic novelist, creator of New Kid. He just had another New York Times bestseller with Kwame Alexander, J versus K. Guys are kicking butt, very inspirational. And there we go. And I'm sure he's here today to look over my shoulder. Get back to work, man. All right, got it. Anyway, so let's go back here to our storyboard sequence. So we have a rocket ship flying through space. Forgive the kind of checkered background. Don't hear you well. Is it just me? Okay. So this is where we need to go to turn up our volume. Hang on one second. Doggone it. Damn stand just fell over. Thanks a lot, man. All right, let's go here. We're going to go here. All right, can you guys hear me well now? I don't know. If you can, great. If not, oh, everything's falling over. This is not good. This is not good, but don't worry. This is okay. Let's try this here one more time. This is why the next purchase I'm going to buy will be a very nice Shure microphone with an awesome stand. That is the thing that I have promised myself I will purchase. And because it's time. So I hope you guys can hear me a little bit better here now. Let me move my mic up a little bit. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear me a little bit better. Oh, we're getting a little reverb on there, so I think you definitely can hear me better. So if you can hear me, let me know. Sound is better. My twin brother Jim has been dogging me about my audio. He's just relentlessly unforgiving on my audio, and I'm sorry about the audio. I'm doing the best I can, but when my checks, because it's always chasing after checks, when my checks come in, it will literally be the first thing that I will get. Hello, Darius Crosby. Cello Jarvis Sheffield. Who is one of the old head Afrofuturists with the Black Science Fiction Society. I think I did one of their earlier graphics, like way back in God, that had to be, it's like 2009 or 2010. It was some insane length of time, so much farther back, but a long time, very distant in the past. All right, anyway, so let's go back here. Hopefully that is a little bit better. Let me just check one thing here. Okay, I think, yes, you guys should be able to hear a little bit better. If not, then it's all good. Not off. See, this is what I'm talking about, man. I asked my friends to chime in, and they start they calling me low quality with Timu. First of all, don't be so critical on Timu. Timu is awesome. Yes, of course, Timo has his issues, but Timo serves a purpose, a purpose. But all joking aside, yes, I will definitely have to buy a high quality audio setup. I know that. That's the only thing I'm missing. Anyway, so here we go. So follow along. Hopefully, this is narratively the story tells itself, and now we're about dialogue a little bit later. All right. So rocket ship closer, title sequence. Notice that the ship is moving from left screen to right. Then we cut into Maddie flying the rocket in the cockpit, right? And then we go into a low angle close up, right? Close up on a sound thing. So now here is a close up. The speaker system in the rocket ship is making noise. You have a cutaway to thing SOS, meaning those who are asking for assistance. Maddie notices it. So what's happening here? So effectively, what's happening is she's like this from that angle. She hears the audio and she does that, right? So that's what's happening. So when I'm doing my work, very often I am telling it from the perspective of telling it from the perspective of a filmmaker. I'm telling the story narratively like a filmmaker. Okay. So she sees and hears the SOS, right? And Maddie's Rocket again is designed to be like the Old Republic serials, a mixture between Old Republic serials, meaning it's episodic, but also that it's told with silent cards from like the silent film era. That's part of the thing I did when I was doing this, the animation. So what I ended up doing was migrating that over to the comic variant, Maddie's Rocket. So she sees the thing there. She looks at the screen. In the screen, you see a scientist, a woman behind him, and a guy here looks like he has a big gun behind him. The idea with this, I don't know if anyone has ever seen films like This Island Earth and The Day the Earth Stood Still. I wanted to do with Maddie because, again, Maddie's Rocket is about telling a lot of those stories that were not told as my parents were younger. So when my parents grew up, my dad, who just made 91 2 days ago, and my mom, who I think will be 88 this year, these folks did not see people that looked like them in science fiction. So a large part of what I do, I have to fully concede now, as I'm telling stories set within those old periods, and I'm adding those characters that were not placed there initially. So in effect, Mark Westfall, one of the things that I'm doing is I'm not only doing straight Afrofuturist work, I'm kind of, how would I say, I'm kind of doing anthropological work by investigating what happened and what didn't happen. But I'm also adding things that should have been there. That's the Afrofuturist part. So it can be quite a bit of fun if handled correctly. So we're going to keep rocking and rolling on that. Let me do this last thing here. I'm going to switch over to the Tim Fielder page because most of my folks follow me on the Tim Fielder page. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's go here to the main page. Main page. Okay. So we're good there. All right, let's go here. Instagram is still rocking. Okay, LinkedIn is still rocking. This is great. Substack, the link is there. Again, the link is there. And hey, wow, I have 16 subscribers. I didn't know that. I did not know that. And of course, YouTube is still rocking, so we're good there as well. Okay, and Twitch is still rocking. What can I say? All right, enough of that. Let's go back here. Okay, so here she sees the scientists. They need help, but how do you know that? We cut to are under attack. Alien, help us, right? So it's like a broken up radio signal with bad video. So here's Maddie's face is intense. She's trying to decide what she's going to do, and she turns the ship around. She knows as a pilot, she is duty bound to run to run to those who are in need. Because again, this is very much Maddie's Rocket is an idealized version of many of the women I was raised by, my mother, my grandmother, my godmother, and who we want. Um, uh, that's who it's a homage to. But it's this thing here is really made for a lot of women. Okay, so we have the face where she's intent, and the ship is here. You see, so basically what happened here was this. So the ship is there, and then boom, it blasts into hyperdrive. And you can see her here, and she's flying the ship, and the ship is shaking. She's moving fast through hyperspace. And then you cut to this section of deep space, and boom, the ship comes, and the rocket drops out of hyperspace, right? And from there, she looks up, this frightened look on her face. And when the shot cuts, it's the space station that's kind of held in the grasp of this large tentacled creature. And Maddie's ship comes into the upper left hand corner, right? So she sees the space station being covered by this kind of octopus creature, and she decides what she's going to do. So she pulls the ship in. Now, this shot here might be a little bit tricky here to see, but if you notice, one of the things that's happening here, Maddie is the foreground. It's a view from behind her where she can see the space station approaching closer, right? Then we cut to a wide shot where you can see the space station and there are tentacles all over the ship, but she locates an open hatch to the space station. Cut to the shot of her looking up at the hatch open. So again, the whole thing with this is to be able to tell the story just through visuals, just with minimal dialogue and narration. There'll be music, there'll be sound effects, and I will show in a moment one of the inspirations for this project, at least of how I want to depict it. All right, let's go here. There we go. All right. So you then cut to a shot of Maddie standing outside. You know, she has a space helmet on, and the hatch on the side of the spaceship opens, and she jumps off the ship because this is in the vacuum of space. So she has her space pack, which flies her towards the hatch of the rocket ship, right? And when she gets in, you see her kind of, if you guys see it, she kind of looks above, the hatch. And she's got a rifle because Maddie uses a modified Winchester rifle, right? And she comes in, and when she's mounted over the hatch and she's wondering what's going on, there's nobody around. And she's got that intense look on her face, right? That's what's happening. And by the way, I'm showing you guys this stuff here. I have literally hundreds of storyboards that I've done over the years, all laid out for different narrative arcs in Maddie's Rocket. So she sees that, and she kind of bounces off the floor, and she's kind of floating down the hallway, right? And then as she's doing it, there's a shadow coming up behind her, but she doesn't know that. So she's still floating down the hallway, but she hears some sounds, and she's wondering what's going on. And she comes through this hallway, and she's like, yo, what in the world is going on? Because she's looking for the crew, right? What about those scientists? And she looks up, and a tentacle drops into the view. And she sees this body of this astronaut that's being held, right, by these tentacles. But one of the tentacles' head pops out, and you can see it's this kind of single eyeball creature with long fangs, right? Oh boy, there she goes. So the creature jumps at her, she fires at the creature, and all of a sudden a bunch of heads come out. So instead of fighting Maddie Smart, she starts hauling butt. And she's running around away from the creatures, which are right on her butt. And just as they're on top of her right here, she jumps down another hatch, and the creatures fly over. So she's now on the bottom floor. She's on the floor below, right? So she's running, and then the creatures come behind her, and she's trying to get away like, oh my goodness. And then just at the other end of the hall where she's running, she sees one of the people who was on the video earlier, like, hey, we're over here. So the guy's screaming, come here. So she gets it just as the creatures are coming up on the hatch. Boom. She gets in, and the guy closes the hatch just behind her. She's on the floor and she looks around. There are three people here, and these sketches are really, really loose. There's the scientist with the glasses. There's the old gentleman and the woman. And of course, they don't look happy to see her. And they're complaining the whole time. Hello, Stephanie Crony, how you doing? So they're not happy to see Maddie, right? Because for them, they're like, hey, we asked for help. We asked for something. We've sent out an SOS. And all that's shown up is this black woman who, what's she going to do for us? Right? So Maddie's looking around while these people are arguing. She notices there's this huge blaster on the desktop. And the woman is complaining to Maddie like, hey, why didn't you go seek help? Why did you just come yourself? And Maddie's looking at her like, yo, what in the world are you talking about? You guys asked for help. I'm here to help you. And so that turns around and you can see here, Maddie's standing there with the gun. And so the scientists start bickering with one another about who's to blame, who did what. And they're not even paying attention to Maddie, right? So here's this woman that's risked her life to come save them. And she's like, oh my Lord, if I keep letting these people run the show, we're all going to end up eaten. So Maddie lets them continue to argue, and she just walks over quietly to the table where this huge cannon is. She grabs the cannon. Suddenly the scientists behind her realize, oh my God, she's got the cannon. Maddie fires through the bulkhead of the space station, causing everything inside to explosive, decompression. So everything that's inside of that compartment is thrown out into the void of space, including Maddie and the astronauts or scientists who are all wearing environment suits. So Maddie has her jetpack, so what does she do? She grabs each person. She holds their hand, she grabs one or the other, and she pulls them back to her ship. She loads them on board the ship, and Maddie's flying the ship, and all of the people behind her are embarrassed because they recognize this black woman came in here and basically saved them using her brain to do it. And she speeds away from the space station, which is largely being consumed by this creature. And there's Maddie feeling very proud of herself because she used her brain to not just save scientists, but to save herself. You see the ship? The ship blasts away. Hello, Clumsir. How you doing? Thank you for showing up. Maddie's rocket then zooms away into hyperspace. The end. Okay, now, here's the thing with this particular sequence. Again, I would say if I selected all of those images here, all the way to here, that is basically 78 images. And some images are full screen, some images are not full screen. So you might ask, okay, Tim, you've done these boards. How is this made into a comic? It's made into a comic like this. Look here. See that? Remember everything I laid out? It's Maddie's rocket is designed to have 3 panels to a page. 3, right? So this is the first page, right? Then the second page. And certain things I added, I took certain things away. See what I'm doing? So I'm able to take these images and multitask them. I can put more detail in them as I want and need. See what's happening? So I'm telling this story by utilizing the 16 by 9 format, but I'm doing it in such a way where this stuff can be sequenced in the comic, but the work can be repurposed as animation. Now, here's the thing I'm going to do. This is going to be interesting here. I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to see. Like, for example, in the comic variant, what I did was, just as I'm showing her coming to the space station, there are certain times where I will change story beats. In this case here, I have a full page image with her floating, and there's the creatures are holding some of the dead crew members. This is in the engineering section of the ship. Now, what you guys also don't know is that it's a space station. I have built the entire space station in 3D. And when I get up my Unreal seat seems to be acting a little weird. I will actually give you all a tour of as much as I can of the actual space station so you can see, wow, okay, he built it. So why did I build the space station in 3D? I built it in 3D, build once, use infinitely. I don't want to have to redraw the environment over and over again. Now, in a certain sense, it's probably not necessary that I do that. I can just draw the stuff out. But I love modeling in 3D, right? So as you can see here, this is everything together, all of the stuff that's happening, right? We're going to die, arrogant fool, right? So the sequences where you have the dialogue, right? So all of those pages here, just this all of those images together make up about 30 pages, right? Now, this will be integrated into the larger graphic novel, similar to how there were flashbacks in Maddie's Rocket Book 1, right? There it is. Very, very proud of this book. But I have to map stuff out. Now, let me show you one thing before I start drawing a few things out. Now, here we go. So, that's the drawing I did of that speaker. So, let me show you here. That speaker. Hold on. Where's that speaker, baby? Where's that? Oh, there's the speaker is. There it is. Right? So, I drew the speaker in Photoshop as a quick storyboard, and then I went here and I drew that. I think I may have drawn that in Clip Studio Paint, right? I used that image, and from there I imported this here into Viscom AI. It gave me back this, right? And the beautiful thing I love about that, let's say like right here, see all these little nooks and crannies and imperfections? The thing I love it when AI does its processing is that it takes all of those details and it makes it part of the image. So it's following my drawing utilizing edge detection. I'm sure there are people who are much more adept at showing that, talking about that than me. Whoa, there's a motorcycle outside. Okay, so here, you see, so I imported that image into Photoshop. Hello, Black on Both Sides, New York City. Pleasure to see you. Thank you for showing up tonight. Greatly appreciate it. From here, this image here then becomes that. So I'm doing paint overs on this. Hey, thank you so much, Stephanie. Now, here's the trick, though, because I want to animate that. So watch, I'm just going to select all these images here. You're going to show you how the motion shows up. It'll move pretty quick here. Just watch this. Watch this. Follow along here. Check it out. Okay, some of that stuff worked. That worked out okay, but not perfect. Hello, ZDMLM1. I don't know who that is. All right, anyway. So, you remember this shot here, guys? Let me show you. sure. Okay, there we go. All right. Hang on 1 second. Let me mute myself. Let me mute. No, that's not it. I have to mute that. I'm gonna be right back. I'm sorry, my wife is downstairs and gotten the she has gotten the thingy here. Hold on. Hang on. All right, great. I'll be right back. Hang on, guys. Gotta go get the groceries. I'm gonna get in trouble. Be right back. looks like I have successfully remained married by going down to get the groceries. Oh, alrighty. So we're now going to switch back here. Here. I'm going to delete that guy there. Now we're going to go back to our right here. All right, guys. I'm sorry I had to run downstairs and go help. I had to go downstairs and help. Can Maddie save our hero from having to take the groceries out of the car? Tune in tomorrow. See, that's what I'm talking about. Your friends are not supposed to be intentionally joning and making fun of you as you are taking care of your marital duties. I'm trying to be a good black man, but see you up there making fun of me, man. Not cool. Anyway, thank you. Yes, I did get it out. Yes, I'm having to take groceries out of the car. All right, what do you want? This is not traditional TV. This is something else, or traditional whatever. All right. So anyway, back to our setup here. We can go to our desktop again. So you guys see how I'm able to take these images. So you remember. Let me see if I can find it here. This image here. So that image here becomes this image. See what's happening? I'm able to create a loose sketch and basically to get that kind of visual that I want. Now, here's the catch about this, and then we're going to get to, because I've been showing a lot of behind the scenes stuff today without getting to some of the drawings. Where is it? I want you guys to see this part because I think it's important that you see this. If I can just find it, brother. Yes. All right, so I built Maddie's rocket. I built the actual rocket, right? So you see that now. You might look at that. You might go, "What in the world is that?" That is actually her couch. That's her pilot's chair with on the left and right those brown objects. That's actually the passenger seats behind her. So I had to take that into VizCom. It gave me a good render, but then I had to output that element and it turned into that. Let me tag it. See this? This became that. You got it? So all the stuff, the lights, all that type of stuff, I could add to that. So even certain shots like this shot here is effectively a variant on that shot. In addition, it's also a variant on this shot right here, the one at the bottom. It's like that one there as well. Because I have the ability, once you build your object in 3D, you can rotate your camera to the most dramatic angle, right? Go here and look at one more thing here, and then we'll get to the other stuff that we want to show here. All right. So I got my backgrounds pretty much where I want them. Although I may take it upon myself to do some other stuff. And I promise you guys very soon by next week, I will have some variant of Unreal Engine running. And if I can, I'll have my PC running connected so I can, because I've been saying I want to show that as well. But, here we go. So y'all remember the shot where it's the people who you can see the video? That's that shot. This is the console here. This is her. This is the part where I can show her flying. So this stuff is dark, but let me go here. You can see it. Now, the only thing about this particular program that I'm using, Unreal Engine, is it provides you real-time shadows, but I have not effectively utilized the Lumen lighting engine. Hey, Walter Grayson. Endowed chair, Walter Grayson. This is my writing partner on the Graphic History of Hip Hop. Good man. We are both we're like old vets, and that we've taken our bruises and we're working on our health while we are working on these books. So there we go. All right. So and then of course this shot here, right? That's a shot where Maddie would be flying it. And again, this stuff doesn't have to be tight. You can make it tight later. Got it? All right. So here we go. Let's take let's say this shot. Let's see what we can do with it. I don't know if we can do anything with it, but we're gonna see. I'm kind of liking that shot. I'm kind of thinking I would like to do this shot. See that background here? I think that might be kind of interesting. I could use that. Oh, this right here, by the way, is a rear shot. You probably can't even see that well. But this is the rear shot of so you can see her flying through space. But I'm kind of thinking this correlates well with that. Ah, wow, look at that. All right, that looks pretty good there. See? So I can have her flying there. In fact, I may be able to use the drawing to put that in there. So let's take this. I don't know if it's going to work. We're going to see. So we're now, sorry about that. Didn't mean to have that down the bottom. By the way, very quick aside, I have the One Nation ARC Omnibus by 133 Art. Brother Jason Reeves has already reached his goal, $5,362 of their 5,000 goals. They have 26 days to go. So they've already kind of reached their goals. Pretty amazing. I'm so very proud of that guy. Without that guy, I would not have actually uh, done what I do now. He was actually very much instrumental in me doing my work. I do have an illustration that I've done of the Paragon character from One Nation that I intend to turn in the coming days and weeks before the Kickstarter ends, similar to what I did for Greg Anderson, Eli Say, and David Brain's project Hammer. I like supporting these type of projects with individual illustrations. And the same goes for Jibba, who has his project, was it 4 pages, 16 bars? Yep. And he's been doing this for a while now. He's in volume 10, and I did this illustration here for the late Turtell on Lee's character, Malcolm 10. So I was very proud to be able to do something. So please go to Kickstarter. Jibba Malay Anderson is an awesome dude, and he's been doing some very cool things to promote the Black comics community. Okay, enough of that. So let's go to VizCon. All right, now here's going to be the moment. We're going to go to New File. We're going to start in Studio, and I could have named it, but I didn't. It's all right, man. It's okay. So we're going to go here, and we're going to drag. Whoops. We're going to drag and drop that right there. Okay. All right. So we have that image. I'm kind of liking it, but VizCom is wondering what in the world it's looking at. So I just hit the interior of a dark aircraft cockpit with brown seats. That's pretty good, right? Watch this. Of a dark spacecraft. A dark retro dash spacecraft cockpit with brown seats, glossy control panel, and overhead instruments. Dimly lit metallic frame visible. That's pretty good, right? So I like this. I would do this a little bit differently in the sense of, let me take this. Can I hit command? Oh, no, that didn't work there. We're going to go here. And one of the things I think I want to do, I want to grab this and I want to make this bigger. I do not want the instrumentation of the viewport from Unreal to be visible. Right, so I want to make this image big enough. Hold on. Let's see if we can do it here. Nope. There we go. All right. Go back here. Whoops. I don't know why that came up, but it's okay. So I think, there we go, a little bit bigger. All right, I think this might work. I think it might work. But let's see here. Let's go home. All right, there we go. I think we might be okay. Let me just do this one last thing here. Make that a little bit bigger. Shift that. Okay, there we go. And we want to describe one more time. Interior of a dark, retro, futuristic rocket cockpit with angular chairs. We're going to go round with leather chairs, dark panels, and a central console on the dim overhead lighting. Outside the window cockpit is outer space. We're going to do photoreal, realistic, and cinematic. Okay, so I built this image in 3D. I built this environment. Okay, and the reason why I'm saying that because I think it's important that people know that. Now I'm gonna copy this. One of the things that the VizCom folks ever watch me do these kind of things, I think it's important that they put a button there that allows you to automatically copy this thing here. I haven't updated here, so we're just gonna generate one time. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Gonna stay on page. Did that? Oh, unexpected error. Interesting. Let's try one more time. Generally, I don't get errors, but we'll see what happens here. Wow. VizCom has been generating errors lately. I noticed it today. Let's generate one more time here. Let's see what happens. This is the free version of VizCom I'm using, by the way. All right, here we go. There we go. Here we go. So we see something being generated there, right? Oh, that's very light. That's actually not bad. That's not bad. You see what's happening? Oh, so I don't want that. But see, here's the thing about this. It's there, it sees something, but what we want is we want under dim lighting, I'm going to take the overhead lighting, a dark retro futuristic. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's generate one more. That wasn't bad though. That wasn't bad. Oh wow, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Look at this. Something's gonna be interesting here. Wow. Wow. Look at that. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about, people. You have the ability with this stuff to make your work more robust and faster. To get that level of rendering would have almost killed me. Now you might say, well, Tim, why don't you just draw it and paint it? You know, I'm almost 60 years old, man. I'm tired of drawing and painting. Do y'all mind if I use a shortcut? Is that okay with you? Right? I This is based on my drawing. I'm not using someone else's drawing. I want to use my drawing. This is based on my 3D model that I built. I don't want to use someone else's 3D model. I want to use mine. Do y'all mind? Is that okay if I not develop another pulmonary embolism because I'm sitting down for 12 hours a day having to draw? I was about to use profanity, but I didn't. But I did use profanity earlier, just before everything came on. I hope everybody didn't see that. Anyway, so the point is, that's pretty good, right? Now, if I had to say, God, doggone, because I'm telling you, there are other renders there. So watch this. So I'm going to add this. That's pretty good. But now what I want to do is I want to go in and detail a little bit more. Interior of a dark, retro-futuristic rocket cockpit with leather chairs. We're going to go, what do you call the things? Thank you. Stephanie, see? You want me to live. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. We just got to get these other mugs in line. Anyway, rivets? That's what we call them. With, we're going to call it cockpit with leather chairs, riveted screws, dark panels, and a central console under dim lighting. Outside the window cockpit is outer space. Photorealistic shadows. Cinematic. Okay, now, I remember when I hit the word add, what I ended up doing was adding that to the list. You're going to see that in a moment. But I just want to give myself an option. Of course, if I had paid the full variant, I would automatically get 4 variants. But let's see what happens here. Oh, whoa. Y'all see that development? It's like magic, right? So here's the catch. All joking aside, the key is I want to take the thing that I built. Wow, that's really amazing, right? And I kind of like that. I kind of like it. I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna say with deep photorealistic shadows. I'm gonna say interior of a dark, moody. And what I'm doing by adding those keywords to the um, to the prompt is I am in effect giving the software direction of what I want it to look like. The image that I built, utilize, and there's certain things I'm gonna, again, once I do this, there's no such thing as just using what's right out the gate. I gotta open it up in Photoshop. Yes, exactly. But see, I'm going to add that in post. Now, Stephanie is saying outer space view makes a big difference, but that's where we then go in and do our further illustration. But then, yes, you are correct. You are correct. That's pretty good. I'm liking it. All right, good. So we're going to do that last one there. Now, here we go. Here's the beauty of what we can do here. I'm going to close this out now. So I have the 3 versions that I use. I really like, this is the original render that I had in Unreal Engine, right? I built that in 3D. I built it in 3ds Max. I imported it into Unreal Engine. And now the software, see how it's adhering to all of the lines, right? It's doing that because that's what the software is designed to do. Now, here's one little very quick thing I would say. Back when I just solely used 3D to do my environments, to get from, I could build it pretty quick, but to get from this to that level of rendering, that level of fidelity, 3 hours. Just to render it, not physically render it, getting the software to render it, right? But this here, what, it took, 10 seconds? Maybe? That's what I'm talking about. So I render out different variants. And from there, next thing we want to do, we're going to name this. We're going to call this Maddie Cockpit. So with this, this gives me the ability, if I want to do this as an animation, right? I can literally layer this image up and sort of animate things as we go along. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. All right, so we're good here. We got Maddie Cockpit. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to go to File, Export PSE. That's Export Photoshop. So you can see it pop across the screen here. Now we're going to go here. We're going to go, man, right here to doc. No, we're going to go to downloads. There we go. And now we got to scroll all because I've done so much stuff over the time. Yeah. Bow. Oh boy. I sat on my reading glasses not long ago. So it's a little bit harder to see. So I'm going to buy, when my next check comes in, I will absolutely buy some new glasses because it is tricky, is what I would say. So I'm going to take this. And I'm going to drag this. I think I'm going to open this up actually in Clip Studio Paint. All right, let's go over here. So there's my image. Now the beauty of doing this particular element here, see? All these things adhere to this. Now there's one last thing I think I want to do here. I don't know if I can. Hang on one second. Watch what I'm going to do here, guys. Watch what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go here, and I want to go back to this. But this one I want to open up in Photoshop. I want to open this up in Photoshop, baby. All right, so there's that image. However, when I rendered this image out, this is the one thing I forgot that was in there. Was that? Oh no, the paths are not in. If I had rendered that out as if I had rendered it out as a TIFF, it would have saved the window openings. But that's okay. We can do that manually. So we're going to close that out. And I'm going to go back here to Clip Studio Paint. All right. So before I do that, one of the things I definitely want to do is I want to open these up here. So let's go back to this image here. Okay, that's pretty good. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to select here. I'm going to select this Magic Wand tool. Whoops. Okay, that's a little weird, but that's okay. This is where we take our pen. And we're going to grab the magnetic lasso if we can. Oh, no, we can't do that. Hello, Flores Magel. Hello, hello. So now what I'm doing here is I'm just going to, it's going to be moving. Oh, it's going to be like that, I see. It's going to be slow. Is that what it is? Is that y'all gonna make, all of a sudden you're going to start acting slow? So here's what I'm going to do. Before we do that, I'm going to take this. This is all from Black Prince, which I've worked on the last several days. I've been making really, really good progress on that. Let's save it again. We're making progress on that. Okay. Here. That one's coming along, but this book, Black Prince, won't be done till next year. I think it's realistic to state that it'll be done next year. That's the most realistic thing because I got other projects I have to do. Do Graphic History Hip Hop Volume 2. What time is it, by the way? 9:43. I'm going to save that. All right, Maddie Cockpit. I'm going to do this one thing here. I'm going to close Clip Studio Paint. I will not save this because it was already saved from before. This is Photoshop here. I won't save that. But you guys see that? That's my thing. My breakdowns have been saved here for the comment. I want to come back to the comment a little bit. I didn't get to do many breakdowns the day before yesterday because yesterday I was in the podcast with the Pink Ride crew. Who are those guys are awesome. Might be doing something with them later on in the year. Okay. So let's now open this back up. Clip Studio Paint should run faster. So my laptop is really very good. It has some ridiculous amount of RAM and storage on it. And plus, I bought about 36 terabytes worth of storage uh, for external storage for my units because you have to start backing up. Here we go. So we're going to Clip Studio Paint. Now we're going to go back to Open Recent, Matty Cockpit. All right, here we go. Now what I'm going to do, let's see if this will work now. Okay, not bad, not bad. All right. Oh, no, not good, not good, not good. Okay, so we got to do this manually. That's all right. I don't mind doing it manually. Okay, there we go. And of course, I don't mind if it's perfect right now. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be close enough. So I can go through this here. And I'm doing it by hand, right? All right, so here I'm actually taking my lasso tool here. I'm just manually drawing around here. So again, for you folks who are just coming in, I do draw my environment sometimes, but very often, since I know I taught myself how to do it over the decades, I use 3ds Max. Melanie Maria Goudreau, who is the woman who I am married to, I had to go down and get the groceries from the car. So there you go. Thank you for joining in. Let's see here. We're going to deselect that to make that line smoother. See how it is? See what we can do there? Boom. Okay, good. Now, so we got that one, right? Let me do this one thing here, though. Wasn't that? Yep. See, that's smoother. Now we're going to try the same thing. Now, sometimes when I am trying to do a smoother line, watch this, guys. I'm going to hold my breath. Okay. Doggone it. I had the wrong key knocked down. Hang on. Let's try. All right. Let me do it again. Okay. Now, why did I do that? I did that so that I could, my hand doesn't jerk as much when I'm breathing. There we go. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing here. Again, I don't need it to be perfect. I just need it to be good enough. Okay, that's pretty good. So that's space there. I'm probably going to do this. Yep, right there. Watch this, guys. All right, I like that. That's pretty good. Now I'm going to do this one last thing here. All right, so that's outer space, correct? Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to punch that in with black. Whoops. I should do that on a separate layer. And the reason why I've done that on a separate layer is because I want to be able to use that as I sort of let's take this here and do a fill here. There we go. That's essentially my mask, right? So we got this. I like that. We're going to call it Space Mask. Okay, good. So we've got this ship. We've got this ship here. So that's not bad, right? This one. Or that one, which I really love the moodiness of that one, but I like outer space of this, but we can play around with it a little bit here. Right? And then, of course, we have our base drawing, which is fine. All right. So let's take here, I think the one we're going to basically use, not that one. I don't want to use that one. I think this one is the one we probably need to be using. Well, let's see. What do you guys think? This one? This one? Or that one? That would be 1, 2, 3. I'm kind of thinking 3 works best. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking 3 works best. 3 has the most, has the images that just kind of, they kind of flow very nicely. That's just my feeling. I think that the light on here is much subtle. It feels like an old movie, but that's just my feeling. But anyway, so here we go. So watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go to duplicate, right? All right, that's good. I'm liking that. So now I want to go through and I'm going to take this smudge tool here. There we go. All right. Taking this here. Yep. So you see how I'm now taking the pixels in the image? I'm literally just molding that image into something that kind of works for what my needs are. Right? I kind of like that. But I think the handle should be dark. I think the handle should be dark. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to go here. There we go. And then I'm going to choose that one because this is the other handle. Okay. Now, is that the one I'm working on now? Number 3, Clumser. Is that the right one? So we're gonna go here to Command U, and I'm gonna take the luminosity down. See how the luminosity is getting darker? I like that. See, that looks more leather. Okay, we're good there, right? I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so we're good here. So watch what I'm gonna do. As much as I love the 3D element, the glowing stuff, that stuff there is not appropriate for this particular sequence. It's not in a high-tech past. It's in a retro past, right? But I do love the blue light behind it. The blue light on there is pretty dadgum cool. So here's what I'm going to do. Watch what I'm going to do here, guys. I'm going to take this. I'm going to go to Command U. And I'm going to take the saturation down. So, see what just happened? It was here. It's color. But see what happens when I take the saturation down? It turns into a retro feeling project. So now I'm going to go here. What I want to do is take a little bit of the stuff here. And I just want to paint over this. In fact, let's not use, I'm going to take my brush here. I think, let's go here. We will take a watercolor brush. We're going to use dense watercolor. Dense watercolor is great. Right? All right, I kind of like that. That's cool. Again, we're not looking for perfection. What we're looking for is something that is done. That's pretty good there. I'm going to take a little bit here, and I'm just going to round that off a little bit there. And as I'm rounding it off, what I'm doing is effectively, as I'm rounding it off, I'm taking out the kind of high-tech elements on there, but it's kind of cool. All right, let me take airbrush here. There we go. See? There we go. I'm liking that. Let's move that over. We don't want too many colors to show up, and I'll show you guys why I'm doing that in a bit. So that's actually very, very nicely done there. I kind of like that. Now, let's go through here and just do a little repair work on some of our elements. See, I don't want those jagged edges there. I want that right there. See how that looks now? That's what this gives me the ability to be able to do. Now, I'm going to go here. Let's zoom in. I'm going to show you what I'm about to do. These pipes, like Wally Wood, kind of protrude out from the surface. So when I do that, I'm just actually taking this circular part here, right? And that's on all of these different things here. See? And I'll go in with highlights where necessary. Right? Same thing here, but watch this. Before I do that, I'm going to take the smooth tool here, blend tool. I'm just going to do that, right? So these things are connected to pipes because keeping that light there is going to be shining on this part here. So we're going to go here. Ah, see? I like that. That's great. Do it again here. Do it over there. Yep. I'm liking it. Now, here's the thing. I really need to be able to make that a little bit grayer. But I want to do that with an airbrush. So I'm going to go right here. There we go. Now watch how I do this. So what we're doing is we're saying that light is hitting this ridge, which is the brace between the floor and the ceiling. See? I'm adding that in there. Meaning that, yes, I have this 3D object that I punched up significantly with AI, but I still got to do what, guys? Still got to paint. No escape. You still got to draw. Right? I have zero interest in using this technology to eliminate illustration. Why would I want to eliminate something that I have spent my life learning how to do? Completely eliminated. Now, what I wanted to do is to reduce the amount of bone crushing drawing. I love drawing. I don't love it that much. You know what I mean? All right, so watch this. We'll go here. See how I'm making that intersect with the wall there? See how I'm doing that? Right? See what I'm doing? Now, watch this. I'm going to take the darker part here. Not looking for perfection. I'm just looking for something that conveys the vibe of what I'm talking about. And that's it. See? See how what that's doing is adding a ridge and the pipes are actually cutting through it? Now, the reason why I love doing this in painting is it adds the imperfection of the paintings, the imperfections of the drawings to this. Now, I'm going to do just a little bit more. Then I'm going to go in with my shadows. And then we're going to do the color overlay. You'll see the way it works here, right? So we got that there. That looks pretty good. Let's take this here. See how I'm actually making that cut through the metal? See what's happening? So this stuff is cutting through the metal, right? That's pretty good. All right, let me check very quickly on my other pages, y'all. Okay, Jarvis Sheffield, Darius Crosby again. Thank you guys so much. Who is this? This is someone who has approached me. This is something I completely missed. All right. Liminal fiction. I'll make sure to keep an eye on it. Hello, Charlotte J. Moss, Annie Evans. Thank you guys so much for liking my posts. Also, Holly Harper. I don't know if you're listening, but if Rozzy, your son, wants to, while I'm working, if there's some other animation stuff that he's interested in seeing, I have no problem with spending time working on that during the streaming, and Rozzy can ask me any question he wants. I don't know if you're going to see this, but that's something that I would love and would be totally fine with him seeing, me show or what have you. That would be totally cool to be able to do that. Let's see what else we got here. We got YouTube. Okay, whoops. I don't know what's happening there. YouTube is acting weird again, man. Is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, I don't know what's going on there. It's because I'm streaming hard and heavy, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go here one time. I'm going to refresh that. I'm going to refresh this one. And let's see what happens. Hopefully it'll be cleared up now. Yeah, it's saying that it's not receiving enough to maintain smooth motion, but I don't know. We'll see. We still got to push through. All right. Back here to Instagram. Again, I'm streaming on, oh my goodness, 2 YouTube channels, 3 Facebook channels, maybe 4, Instagram, LinkedIn, Substack, link, Twitch. There's a lot. There's a whole lot. But that's okay. All right, now, let's very quickly get to this last part here. Now, here's where I'm just going to go in. Again, working in Clip Studio Paint. I love Clip Studio Paint. I think it's an awesome software program. Let me turn this on here so we can see. So that's outer space. Everyone see that? That's outer space. So we know in that black part there, that's outer space. But here, what I want to do, yeah, that's not bad. See, notice how the detail I added looks one way, but when you zoom out, it tightens up. Pretty awesome technique there, the way that works. But we're good there. And some of this stuff is going to have shadow all over it, so don't worry about it. Okay, here we go. So now what I want to do is I want to go in here, take probably my airbrush, but instead of using a straight line, I'm going to go with shadow. And you're going to see what happens here as I go with shadow. This is a leather seat. So I can now go in and ink that in, right? I can do that manually. Even here, I like my handle, but I want my handle to come here. Yeah, there we go. Yep. So we can see that. I'm going to darken that up there. I'll even darken it up here. See? So what I'm doing here is literally taking this. Yep. And of course, I don't have to overdo this part here because Maddie is going to be sitting in the chair, right? She's going to be sitting in the chair. You guys will see how that will look there. Okay. Now I'm going to take this because I want that to be rounded out, actually. I don't want that because we don't want it to be too futuristic. We want it to feel kind of retro. Yep. There we go. So you'll see what's happened here? How those lines and stuff, add that stuff in. Watch this, watch this. Watch what happens when I go here. Just add these kind of imperfections, just little slight imperfections. And what they're doing is they're adding what I call implied detail to the drawing. See? So, well, okay, let me try this again. Watch this, watch this. So you see that metal rod there? See that line there? Watch this. See that? That's the type of thing you can do with this. All I'm doing here is just enhancing what already exists. Same thing here. I'm going to go here. See? Don't need it to be perfect. Right? Okay, that's pretty good. we go. All right, I like that. All right, now I feel good about that, but I want to be able to get some stuff happening under the kind of hatches there. So I'm now adding shadows in. And this just implied detail. Again, implied detail. See, I'm getting the light is here. The light is here. But I'm actually having shadow pop off that side of the light. This is what I'm talking about. This is what this stuff gives you the ability to do, to be able to take things. You still, all I'm trying to do is add, whoa, messed up there. Let's make sure I choose the correct one here. There we go. Still set the shadow. Watch this. So it does that. I'm able to add shadow on this part here. Yep, pretty good. Alrighty. I like that. That looks pretty hot. Now, watch what I do here. I'm just going to go here now. I'm just add a little line work. See? Adding a little line work. Little imperfections, little small imperfections. That's all I'm doing right here in this section. See? And I can do the same thing here. Just little small things I can add. Now, you'll notice here, this part here, that's a little weird, but it's okay there. I'm going to live with that. Okay? Let me go here. Sorry. There we go. Let's take that there. There we go. Yep. Now I could turn that top part there into a, but there I don't think there's a porthole in that section. So here's what I'm going to do. Watch this. I'm going to go here. Whoops. Now what it is, I had shadow pop back, but I'm going to go back to soft. Watch what I do here. I'm going to select here, and I'm going to smooth this in. See, I'm going to fill that in there. See what I'm doing? I'm filling that in. Filling that in. In fact, I'm going to take it even further. And I'm going to take it all the way over there because I don't want that to be an open porthole in the roof just yet. Right? See how I'm doing that? All right, now I'm going to take my blend tool here. And here I can add those imperfections back in there. But you see what I'm saying? Now what's happening is starting to look like a round kind of a fuselage. You're inside of a round fuselage. That's what that is. See? Right? I kind of like this bended part here, but for right now, we'll just leave that the way it is. Now, watch what I do here, guys. We're going to take this and go here a little bit of brown there, a little bit of dark things. See? See what's happening? See how that looks now? I like that. I like that a lot. So we're going to go here, smooth this out just a little bit. Now, watch what I'm going to do here. This is where it's going to get really interesting. So I'm going to take now, I'm going to take a white brush, but I'm going to, instead of painting with shadow, I'm going to paint with highlight. So you see what I'm doing? It is not magic to this stuff. It is not magic. All you're doing, it's enhancing what's already there. But the thing that this software program, this technology does, for me just to get the base look of this would be hours and hours of rendering. And that's the thing that put me in the hospital. I can't do that no more, guys. But I can do this. I can take this element here and get something that that makes me feel good, makes me feel proud of the work I'm doing, right? See how I'm adding those highlights in there? Watch this. You see how that light is here? Watch what happens when I hit this. See how that light is popping off there? Matter of fact, I'm going to take it right here. See how it's going on that edge? That's, in fact, I could do it like that if I wanted to. I could take it up here if I wanted to. See? These are the things that this software, this process adds to the equation. In fact, let me do this. I'm going to take this shadow here. Hello, M. Mills Fine Art. Pleasure. Thank you for showing up tonight. And go here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a little shadow. Again, 3D render of my model of the actual Maddie's rocket. Right? And then I do run it through VizCom, which gives me detail on my model render. And then from there, I then paint and touch up normally. It's the same technique that people have been using in the video game industry for decades. It's nothing new. So you see that retro feel there? Everything looks very retro. Now watch this. Because this is in the middle of a spaceship, here's what I'm going to do. Hello, Distract. Join. Thank you, Distract. Thank you so much. So we have a layer here. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to create another layer. And this layer here is going to be a light. It's going to be an airbrush. Go to soft. Watch what I do here. All right, I'm going to turn that off there. So we got a light here, right? See that light pops there? Not bad. But what I want, let's turn that off, is here's where I'm going to go in with a little shadow. And because this is a retro story, I'm not really, things like shadows, I'm going to use pretty extensively. Got it? The illusion. I want to pull in some Greg Toland, Orson Welles level stuff here, right? There we go. See that dark console, what it does? Watch this. I can go here and I can add a shadow. See how I'm able to add shadows? In fact, let me take this on the bottom here. See what I'm doing? These are the type of things that you have the ability to do. And by the way, that's on a separate layer. This is all on a separate layer. Watch this. Now we can go on the side here. See? And it's like what we're adding now is some vignetting. See what's happening? We're adding vignetting. Right? Now, watch this. So we know that space, right? Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to double click on this layer. So now those windows are now open. Watch this. I'm going to turn this off, these two guys off, and I'm going to hit, let me duplicate this just in case, go here, and I'm going to hit delete. And I'm going to turn this off. So as you can see here, the window is now white. But watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to go here. I'm going to create a new layer. And this time I want to create a sort of space, right? Outer space. So we go here. We're going to go about middle way here. And now I'm going to take this tool. Let's make it, well, let's see, more like that. Nope, we need to make this a little bit lighter here, right about there. Nope, this a little bit darker. I don't want this one here to be a little bit darker too. All right, that's pretty good. Because now I can hit Command U and make that darker. All right, so now I'm going to move this behind that layer. So there's outer space there, right? And if I want to, I can take my tool. I can actually make that darker. Command U. Now make that limit. You see what's happening, guys? Now watch this, just to be a bonehead. Hello, Daniel Pendleton. Thank you so much for showing up there. So this is outer space. I'm going to title this Outer Space. Okay? So we're good there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to move these back down. We got black foreground, white background. Watch this. Create a new layer. And I find it's very useful to be able to take your mouse. Oh, that's pretty bad. That's like a little deformed stars there. That's not what I want. Let's go to GPID. GPID is always great for this kind of stuff. Right? So you see what's happening now? So we got space here. Outer space. There we go. Let me take this point up here a little bit. There we go. All righty. So I like that. Let me take this little light here. All righty. Now watch this. Watch this, guys. So already that's giving you an element of animation. So when you're drawing and utilizing this technique, you actually have the ability to utilize your 2D elements as animated elements later on. Now watch this. So you remember I had that glow from the panel? See how that's there? Because that all of that shadow is blocking it. But now I can go here and I can reduce it down if I want. Watch this. That's hot, right? See how that slight glow? We can control it because we have everything on layers. So we're going to call that glow. Now, I'm going to do one more thing here because I won't bother with this much longer. I'm going to take my saturation down even more. So that's pretty good there, right? So we know our glow is here. I like that. I'm going to erase just on the bottom here, right? There we go, because we want to maintain the shape of that console, right? So we're good there. And I want to go here one more, and I'm going to add right here. Let's go here. Watch this. See? In fact, if I want to, right now that's set to normal, I can set it to overlay. Right? In fact, watch this. Watch what I'm going to do here. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm liking that. See? Right now it's set to overlay. What if I set it to add glow? Let's turn that down a bit. See? So these are things that can be added to our drawing. It can make things be more dynamic. Let me just check here. I want to see if how we're doing here on YouTube. Wow, we're still getting our butts kicked. Yep. Okay, I'm not sure. YouTube is not receiving enough to smooth as such. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. We're not going to worry about that for tonight because right now we are streaming all over the web. All righty. There. Good here. LinkedIn is still going strong, it appears. I had the pleasure of being interviewed by Dave Burris, who's one of the big AI guys on LinkedIn several months ago, and I'll hope we get the opportunity to visit with him again. All right, Twitch. Yep, Twitch is still going strong, so that's good. All right, well, I think we're good here. Let's go back here. All right, last thing I'm going to do here, and then we will call this image there. Good, and then we're going to just do a few more minutes of illustration work. All right, let's go back to this. Now, so we have now a retro spaceport, right, of cockpit. It's looking pretty good. I'm liking the way it looks. The only other thing I think I would do, let me move out of space here just a little bit. I think I need to take my brush here and let's go down, whoops, go all the way right here, pick a black. Let me just see what happens here if I do this. Yeah, see, I like the idea of there being more black here. But I'm going to take this and we want like a smooth, not that we want to, there we go. And I want here, I want to smooth that out. Right? See how that's smoothing that out there? Yeah, now let's move that back down. Yeah, see, that's good. I like that. I like that a lot. Call this stars. All right. Now, let's see what happens if we play around with a little color. And I'll show you what I mean. Now, most people don't realize when I'm drawing or painting, and by the way, what I'm using here will likely be used in Maddie's Rocket, the comic and the animation, because that's pretty dope looking, right? But the thing is, I have the ability to do is to add color where necessary. Now, the most obvious thing to do is this. So we take an orange here, we're going to take a little brown, like so. And go here. And what's the obvious thing to do is this. Let's go right about there. So basically what we have here now is a sepia tone overlay. See? And if I reduce that down, it really looks like an old movie. See how it has that sepia tone vibe to it? But what if we did this? We create another layer. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go with a little brown. In fact, I'll go with a little red. I'll show you what I'm going to do here in just a moment. What we're doing, go a little red here, right? Now we're doing it, go a little red here. I'll show you in just a second what I'm doing, right? Let's go a little red here. Here, I'm going to go with a little green because that console is green, right? And then here, I'm going to take a little blue. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, just like this. And this is what I classify as a wash element. It's a wash element. And you might look at it and go like, now, why is he doing that? Why is he adding that wash to it? I'll show you in just a moment. And then here, I want to add a little bit of yellow. Now, I do this because one of the things that I'm able to do, see, I'm putting a little yellow there. One of the things I'm able to do is to do a Ted Turner. Now, a lot of people might not know who Ted Turner is. Ted Turner colorized old movies. It was one of the weirdest things, but that's what he did, right? And for some reason, I love seeing old black and white movies colorized. I know, it's crazy. But that's what I did. So what I do is I take that motif. This is when I want to differentiate between time sequences, right? Like for the far past, what I'll do is I'll just leave that be gray tone, right? But if it's something that's in the present-ish, I'll do that as a color overlay. And right here, you see, that's what that is. Watch this. If I go to overlay, see how that that kind of very much faded color is there. I could even go to multiply if I want to, but in this particular case, what I think I want is a soft light. See how that soft light? Now watch what happens when I go over this with overlay. So you all see the difference? Let me zoom in here so you can see it. So let's take the seat here, seat area. See what's happening with the color? The color is like, what it does is add a subtle kind of gel effect. And it gives the impression of implied detail. In this case here, there is more spacey stuff. But I'm going to do one more thing here. Here, I think I want to take a little bit more blue. Watch what I'm going to do here. Let me take airbrush. Watch what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to click here. See how that's kind of spacing that out a little bit? Now I'm going to take a little dark. Watch this, guys. See what's happening there? Now, I'm going to reduce this down in opacity. See what happened there? See how that's changing that? It still reads as black and white, but it's kind of got that bluish tone to it. And right now it's set to normal, but what if I set it to overlay and bump it up a bit? See what's happening? That's the thing that these tools give you the ability to do. Now, I've been working on this image here probably what? An hour? Right? To do this very image, to make it look as good as it does. In the old days, 6 hours minimum. But now I can do it in less than an hour, which is what I've been doing, right? And that works pretty good. Now, for now, I'm going to leave this as, let me save this. Save that as Maddie Cockpit, right? And again, this image here will be used, the background for that will be the background for this. Well, hang on. It'll be the background that I'll be utilizing for that. This one here, the bottom part here, as well as here. So I have the ability to move the camera in and out. Right? So that's what I'm doing. So for right now, we're good. It is now 10:27. I'm a little tired again. I know I said I was going to work on the comic, but it's been a long day. I think I need to go lay my butt down. Anyway, you guys are awesome. I promise you, I will be back on the comic next week. I will be back doing what I need to do. Now, here's the last thing I want to say. For folks who have taken, lost your minds and stuck with me for today, I beg of you to please go to YouTube because I'm trying to become monetized. Hit like, subscribe, and hit notifications because I'm updating. I am streaming daily, 5 days a week. The only days I'm not streaming is when there's something that comes up, a medical appointment, or in the case like yesterday, I'm on a podcast. That makes sense to do it twice on that day. But this is what I'm doing. I'm able to stream how I work. By the way, this work that I'm showing you guys that I'm doing, this is not for fun. I mean, it's fun doing, but this is not just me goofing off. No, this will actually be used in the animation as well as the graphic novel of Maddie's Rocket. I don't know if this particular sequence is going to appear in book 2 or 3. So what you guys are seeing me do is literally how I do my work, right? I'm not doing commissions, even though maybe I probably should do commissions. That's not my intent. My intent is to produce work that literally will be published. That's my objective. And that's what we do here at the Dieselfunk Dispatch. I want to thank you guys so much for being here, for rocking with an old dude, for doing all those different things, for allowing me to share myself. It's been an entire week of streaming. I want to thank some of my surprise folks on Instagram